epiphany mean?
The definition of epiphany is a manifestation. It comes from the Greek word epiphania, which means to show or display.
An epiphany is the time when something is shown, displayed, or manifested to an audience.
The word of the week this week is Epiphany because on the 6th of January, the Feast of Epiphany is celebrated. This feast celebrates the visit of the wise men to Jesus.
It also celebrates Jesus' baptism in the River Jordan and the wedding feast at Cana in Galilee.
What does Epiphany mean to you?
Well, very good question. The Epiphany to me reminds me of the three wise men because they went to visit Jesus 12 days after he was born and they took him three gifts. Do you remember which gifts they took him?
Frankincense and myrrh.
And then gold.
Yeah.
So the Epiphany reminds me of the way in which those three wise men wanted to celebrate and show Jesus how special he was to them, and so he brought them gifts.
What is the Epiphany?
The Epiphany is about when the wise men followed the star to Jesus, and some people celebrate Christmas on the 6th of January instead of Christmas Day.
What is Epiphany?
What is Epiphany? Well, for us as Christians, the Feast of the Epiphany is a very special event. Do you remember what happened on Epiphany? Do you know? Well, we celebrate the Epiphany on the 6th of January, and it celebrates really the wise men visiting Jesus, and they had three gifts. Can you remember what the three gifts are?
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Well done, gold, frankincense and myrrh. And we often call them kings, don't we? But it doesn't say in the Bible that they're kings, it just says they're wise men. And we don't know how many wise men there were, but we just know there are three gifts. So that's why we sometimes have the three kings. But there could have been a lot more. And they came from far away. Remember, Jesus was born in Bethlehem. And so these wise men came from a long way to the east. We're not sure where they came from, but they travelled a long way and they followed the star. That's right, they followed the star. And so they came in and they worshipped Jesus. And epiphany is a Greek word, and it means revelation or showing. And so what it represents is that these wise men were coming and revealing Jesus, not just for the people of Bethlehem, but for the whole world, because they represented the people from the world coming and recognizing that Jesus is the Son of God and the Saviour of the world. So it's a special event. And in some parts of the world, Epiphany is like Christmas. So people bring gifts, and it's called Little Christmas in some places. And it's also the 12th day. In our part of the world, it's the 12th day of Christmas. Remember, we often talk about the 12 days of Christmas? Yeah? And we celebrate Christmas Day, first day of Christmas, and the Epiphany is what we call the 12th day of Christmas. Okay, so it's a special day, and in some parts of the world, it's like Christmas Day. So lots of gifts, but in other places, Little Christmas is often a time, and I think this is lovely for children, is that it's a time particularly for mothers who've worked hard and fathers who've worked hard over Christmas, but the children actually do the work on Little Christmas, but they're the ones who help and let their parents have a rest for the day. So do you think that might be a nice idea that children could do? I think it'd be a very nice idea. Okay, so there you are.
This week's scripture is a reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 12.
The story of Christmas, Jesus and the wise men. This is Jesus. Booyah! Jesus is the Son of God who would grow up to do amazing things. His parents on earth were Mary and Joseph.
Heyo.
Jesus was born in a barn because there was no room for him anywhere else in Bethlehem. Bethlehem was part of Judea, an area that was ruled by a king named Herod. King Herod was in Jerusalem when some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem asking,
Excuse me.
"Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose and we have come to worship him." When Herod heard that there was another king born in Judea, he was very upset, as was everyone else in Jerusalem.
Yeah. Not you.
So Herod called all the important priests and Jews together and asked them where this king was supposed to be born. The Jews knew that their king would eventually come, and was always told to them that the king of the Jews, the savior of the world, would be born in Bethlehem. So they told that to King Herod. Then King Herod thought of a way to trick the wise men. So he called a private meeting with them and learned from them when the King of the Jews' star first appeared.
Oh, good.
And then King Herod told the wise men, "Go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child, and when you find him, come back and tell me, so that I can go and worship him too."
Okay. Hey, on your way.
But secretly, Herod wanted to know where the King of the Jews was so he could get rid of him. So the wise men went on their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where Jesus was, and the wise men were filled with joy.
Woohoo!
They went into the house and saw Mary and Jesus,
Hello. Oh, look. Wow.
and they bowed down and worshiped Jesus.
Wait.
They gave him special gifts fit for the king that he was: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Then God warned them in a dream to not go home through Jerusalem, where King Herod was, but God told them to go home a different way. So they did. And then an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up." The angel told Joseph to go to Egypt with Mary and Jesus because Herod was looking to kill Jesus. That very night, Joseph left for Egypt with Jesus and Mary. They stayed in Egypt until Herod was gone, and it was safe for them to go home to Israel. When they returned, an angel warned them about the new ruler of Judea, who was Herod's son.
This way.
So Joseph and his family went to the region of Galilee and found their new home in the town of Nazareth,
Look good?
Yep.
We'll take it.
where Jesus would grow up and eventually do all the amazing things God had planned for him to do.
How does this link to the word? This scripture links to all words because it tells the story of the wise men following the star to visit Jesus.
Just as the wise men trusted in the star to lead them to Jesus, we should trust in God on our journey and remember that He has a plan for each of us.
To reflect on the word this week, we would like you to pray the star prayer. You will need a large star and finger paint. The wise men went on a long journey following a star to Jesus. Say a prayer in your head. You could pray for people who are traveling a long way, that God will look after them and keep them safe. Or you could pray for people who are looking for something and pray that they find it.
Once you have said the prayer in your head, place your finger into the paint and leave a fingerprint on the star as an amen to your prayer. When everyone has made a fingerprint on the star, place the star either in your prayer area or somewhere in the classroom to remind you of Epiphany.
The word of the week this week links to our mission statement because we trust in God to keep us safe on our journeys each day.
This is creating a better tomorrow and helping today as we also look out for each other and keep each other safe, just as God does.
What is our mission this week?
Your mission this week is to look out for other people and trust in God no matter what.
Listen to what He tells you and follow your instincts on your journeys.